podcast. Back at it again. It's a Monday. It's a Monday following another disheartening loss. A Monday where we face down the depths of a light at the end of the tunnel. Hopeful Monday. It's a Monday also where we are Eric Hicks days away from the start of college basketball and the start of another season with Wes Miller at the helm. Exciting season at that. First year in the Big 12 for that. It's also a Monday where we continue to break down, decipher, figure out, decode how to come out on top in the first year of the Big 12 football. It's also a Monday where we have not one, but two recruits committing to the football program and another big-time recruit, most recently on an official visit on the basketball side of things. And we're going to dive into all of that, which means it's another Monday where I bring in my guys, my pals, all three of us again. Three of them with me, four total. That's right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, Ryan Royer. Gentlemen, how are we?
We're here. Yay.
We are here. We are here. We're live.
How exciting.
We are live. Oh, man. Golly. Aaron, well, Chad, how was the weekend? You know, outside of the football game.
Good.
Everything
Went
was
to a
fun.
little Halloween party Saturday night. Had a bunch of running around to do Sunday. Went to the grocery store. It's amazing how much you can spend at the grocery store right now.
Yeah.
Like a half full cart, $300.
Catches damn up quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we had to get some toilet paper and had to get like some laundry detergent and some simple things around the house.
$40
And, like I got home,
toilet paper.
We didn't even buy any damn food, and I spent $300.
Yep.
Dude, do not go to Target. Target will do you in. You think half a cart? Give it like an eighth of a cart at Target. You're running up about 200.
The lady in front of me had a full cart. Like, I'm talking, she could have professionally been a cart stuffer.
Yeah.
Like, she had it like Tetris in there.
Oh yeah.
The whole cart full, and it was $600 and something.
A little supermarket sweep, baby. Just a little nice.
Oh my God. Do you remember when even 5 years ago, you had to have 3 carts. You had to have a train of carts to spend $600.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she just had one cart with $600 worth of stuff in it.
It's incredible. It is incredible. Which is also got Chick-fil-A on Friday for myself. What?
Go ahead. Did you know they have cans of Wendy's chili now?
Huh.
Yeah.
Don't call it a comeback.
Don't they use leftover burgers for the chili? So how does that work? Nope.
You know,
yep. They have cans of Wendy's
whatever
chili. I saw it
leftover meat is at the warehouse.
Yeah.
for the product chili. But no, yeah, I mean, even like a Chick-fil-A order for myself and my girlfriend was just expensive. Everything's just expensive. Yeah. Yes, it's just what is going on right now?
It's a date night to go to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, I know. It's like we just want a snack. Oh, well, we might as well get a bottle of wine too because we just had a little bit of a step-up gourmet meal.
You think they would yell at you if you took a bottle of wine into Chick-fil-A with you and sat it down at the table? Like, look, this is our date night.
Yeah, I mean the religious aspect of things. If it was all Catholics, they would be like, yes.
If you turned it from water, then you'd be good to go.
Good point.
Have I told you what my buddy does?
No.
He takes one of these full of bourbon into a restaurant and just sits it at the table.
Wow.
And I guess they think it's his water container, but it's really just 4 roses.
It's a bold move, Cotton. Bold
He
move.
said nobody's ever said a word to him.
Well, Chad, what did you dress up as? That's the main question.
Bob Ross.
Wondering. Bob Ross.
Nice. That's a good one for you. I feel like you'd rock that well.
Yeah. Little easel and the paintbrush. Okay. Bob Ross. Gosh, shouts to the show Euphoria, great TV show on HBO. But she dressed up as Bob Ross at one of the Halloween parties. I don't know if that's where Chad got his inspo, but Bob Ross, I enjoy. Aaron, how are we, sir? What's up, man?
I'm good. Was dealing with a cranky baby today, but we're here. We're good.
Oh, look at this guy. We have officially gone off the rails. We're only 5
Let's
minutes.
go.
This is great.
You could be Napoleon Dynamite too at the same time.
Yeah.
I could. And I don't know where the beard and mustache are around somewhere, but
I'm gonna be completely honest. I think that looks kind of good.
I was talking to my Uber driver on the way home from the party. I was like, I think I might just wear this out. Like,
Right.
It doesn't look unnatural on me.
No, it's not horrible. Like my dad back in the day randomly had a fro, and you literally look like back in the day with my dad with a fro. It looks pretty natural. I like it.
I think I like with the beard. I'd like if I could work some gray in.
Yeah, a little salt and pepper.
I think just a little like maybe spray paint some gray spots in there. I think it would look a little more natural.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, the party was outside. Like
Okay.
the party was inside, but they had like a really big 2-story deck outside.
Yeah.
And there was like 35 people inside. It was like a sauna inside.
Yeah.
So I was outside, and at one point I took the wig off, and I'm like, oh wait, this thing is keeping me warm.
Yeah, it's like a little cap.
It's down over the ears, so my ears were covered.
Cap.
Yeah, like it was like a nice wool cap.
It looks good. It looks good.
I might rock this thing. I might rock it for the rest of the show.
We probably need it. A lot of doomsday combos coming up here, so I think it would make it a lot easier and to just smile watching you talk about these things with that on. So yeah, keep it.
It's a good question to start. Ryan, which is shorter, your patience with this team or your sleeves?
I think my patience was shorter. I think it's more of kind of acceptance we've reached. Just like the acceptance
they are
of
who
my
they
sleeves. My sleeves are not going to reappear back on this shirt when I wake up in the morning.
They're not.
So I think that's the kind of stage I'm at. The Bearcats' identity is about as certain as this shirt being a sleeveless shirt.
Okay. Oh,
the 7. You're going through the 7 steps.
Yeah.
You've reached acceptance.
Acceptance.
I'm in Dante's Inferno over here. It's just
you don't handle the downs well, Brent.
No, absolutely.
You're great on the ups.
Yeah.
The downs are very tough on you.
It's hard. And
it's hard on me too, man. I didn't think I'd see it crash and burn this quickly.
Oh, I know. And we're not even done with the intro, and we're already chomping at the bit. So let's wrap up the intro. Aaron, thank you for saying how you are. Royer, how are we? Real fast.
I'm good. It was an up and down weekend for good old sports ball. Well, let's see what happened. We got the Blue Jackets overtime dub. That helped me
big time.
My brother's team got their ass kicked. That hurt me. We all know what the Bearcats did to me. The Browns hurt my boy Alec, but the Browns won, so that was kind of good for me.
And they won in one of the weirder ways on that.
I know. Just drive. When have you ever seen the Browns get bailed out by penalties 2 weeks in a row?
And like pretty bad calls too.
Oh, terrible! I felt like it was hard for me to even celebrate.
I know.
I felt bad for Alec. I was like, damn, like I'd rather Alec win than we, like, my team steal one from him, obviously. Like,
but Jerome got the win.
Yeah, but Jerome's freaking hurt
high
now.
ankle sprain. He's out for 2 weeks.
Yeah, out 2 to 4 weeks. Well, and James got the win too. So it's a big thing. Yeah.
B. Cook had the game-showing pick, almost dropped it though.
Gosh,
he would have been pissed as hell if he didn't.
I mean, right off his shoulder
that back
pad.
Up.
Boom.
Yeah, if he would have dropped that one next time I saw him, I wouldn't have stopped giving him shit for that. But.
Yeah. And there's pictures floating around, a confirmed kiss from Taylor Swift on the cheek of Travis Kelce. It's still such a surreal thing to me. So
her and
shouts there.
Mrs.
Brittany
Mahomes got a handshake.
Colliding, Brent.
Hey, Aaron, what's worse, the Taylor Swift or that fake Chargers fan that freaks out the whole game?
They're both dreadful. Why are we giving
I-
airtime to either?
I think the
There
fake,
used
the
to be
fake
a
Chargers
Minnesota
fan,
fan.
the fake Chargers fan is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Do you think she's a plant?
Like, why
don't
are they
understand
turning
any of it.
football into this shit?
It's a joke to distract you away from the terrible calls being made on the field to overturn games.
Who's
outcomes.
running PR? Are they just trying to make guys like us mad so we just talk about football because it's working?
Absolutely.
Or do they think that's the move? Like,
I don't
No,
know.
they
this
also
lady-
are seeing that like 50 million women are now tuning in that have never tuned in before, and they're like, "Oh, let's
We
go
gotta
get
put
that money. We want to go
Yeah.
get that money on top
Right.
of the money we're already getting."
So
Right.
let's plant an actress acting like she loves football so much to try to brainwash the women watching to like it as much as she does. Is that
Well,
what
no.
it is?
Now what happened is the Swifties that were watching that game also saw the other woman, and they're like, "Oh, like there are women at the other games too. Well, maybe I'll start watching the games that aren't Taylor Swift games."
Yeah.
It's no surprise that woman showed up the week before the Chargers played the Chiefs.
Mhm. Yeah.
They told you it's scripted, Royer.
End
It
it
is.
all.
Ooh.
Put it
Well,
up in
and-
flames with the Bearcats.
and
Is
and
it hard
also
to take
it's
me serious with this thing on?
no, it's beautiful. It's also pretty funny. I saw some video of like a Taylor Swift fans saying, "I need to watch what Travis's brother does pregame so that I know what's going on." And it's just like following Jason, and it's like booty bump,
Yeah.
high knees. He's running, shake. Yeah, it's like okay, that was awesome. He's a good guy. So it's funny. Whatever, entertainment's entertainment. It's getting talk. It was able to distract us from the main topic we need to get to. So you know what?
I think Aaron might want to talk about Taylor Swift tonight.
Yeah, I'm getting those vibes too from him.
Taylor Swift or relive the Baylor game, Aaron. Your call.
Baylor.
Oh, we're back, baby. We are so back. Aaron is back. Yeah. I mean, if you get frustrated looking at things on your phone, whether it be the highlights of the tough Baylor game, or Taylor Swift, or the LA Chargers fan that used to be a Minnesota Vikings fan, that I don't know, Royer, it's weird. And you get frustrated. You're driving, and you don't know what to do, and you start swerving, and you hit a pothole, or you need oil. Head over to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Danco Joe will hook you up. Tell him that Chad sent you, Aaron, Royer, me. Mention us, BBP, BCJ. Get yourself $10 off your next oil change, 10% off your next fixing. Danco Joe, Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Love you, Danco Joe. Well, let's dive right into it. 32-29. Yet again, another frustrating game. Game that had yet another chance for the Bearcats to pull out a win at the end, but also a game that ended in a loss. 5 straight losses, 4 straight at Nippert, which is the one that the stat that kind of hits my heart a little bit more than just the 5 straight losses. But a tough game against a Baylor team who, full discrepancy, they were kind of facing similar downtrodden fan base, frustration among the team, lack of energy, kind of the same buzzwords and phrases that this Cincinnati team had heading into that Baylor game. Baylor was also going through it as well. Bears were able to figure it out, almost 300 yards rushing and still a loss. Just a lot of puzzling things. But as always, I'm gonna pass it to the guy underneath me, Mr. Royer. Man, Saturday, 12 noon, sucked. What's your kind of just your overall view of the game from your eyes? You're muted.
Just another week of just not being able to come out and grab a lead and kind of dictate the game. I mean, when's the last time we were like in control of the game? Pitt.
Yeah, Pitt. Yeah.
And that's like the only time the whole year. And I mean, I like how they kind of battled back and ate it competitive. the run game was encouraging. You kind of saw like the tail of the running backs. Like, oh, Corey gets out, but he can't break the touchdown. Then Miles goes out and breaks the touchdown. It's just,
Yeah.
but it still astounds me how, we'll take a little baby step in one way, but like everything else kind of stay lagging behind. And it's just week in and week out, same, like you said, the same thing that we were talking about the week before happened again. And just special teams. I know that's an easy one to hit on, but just nightmare out there again. Like, we're in a state right now, like we can't be gifting the other team like touchdowns, like
anything
straight up touchdowns, like either for the defense or for special teams. And we're doing that consistently now. And I don't know. It's just, like I said, it just came to, it used to like really get to me, but it's kind of like, that's the kind of team we're at. We're what's the word? A team that was thrown together really quickly, trying to go out there and turn around a downward spiral. Right. And you're just seeing the mudslide continue. And I'm not really surprised anymore. It just I feel for Satterfield, but his style also kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes. But I just don't think this is something that he's able to rein in right now. Maybe you can prove me wrong, but you're kind of seeing that same mistakes every week, same kind of attitude, same kind of like, not like half-ass energy, just not intense.
I thought the energy was fine Saturday.
Yeah, I meant like from just, I don't know, in terms of just competitiveness from the start. It's like, why do we have to get down like 18 points or whatever it was to say, all right, let's play football now after we've been getting our asses kicked for 4 straight games? I guess that's what I was meaning to say. But yeah, that's kind of what I think. It's not the Bearcats team I'm used to seeing. It does hurt to say and see that.
Yeah. Well, first off, your thoughts. I don't know if you watch, the press conferences or anything, but Sat kind of came into the press room and immediately just took full ownership and said that like this is not Cincinnati football. This will not be Cincinnati football. We need to get better. And I felt like it was the first time that he kind of, seemed a little bit more like edgy and like truly frustrated. And I don't know if it's because, at this point, like he probably saw the last true game that was potentially Cincinnati being favored and probably being the team that should have won the game. And now he knows what's coming up the rest of the way. But he came in, he was frustrated. And, Chad and Aaron, I don't know if you guys felt like that too. It just kind of like, it seemed like the urgency really kicked in. And in year one, he just was overall just not happy, pretty pissed off.
No, I agree. He
because of that play.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
the last play, yeah.
He got the 15-yard penalty on the sideline. He was certainly frustrated. As when you have games that continue to pile up where you have more yards than the other team, and the only stat that you're losing on is points, and it's 3 of them now. I'd be frustrated too. He has every reason to be frustrated. 5
of the 7 games they've outgained the opponent.
They're finding ways to lose, and I thought they would be more corrected at this point.
Yeah. Real quick, do want to thank Georgia Bearcats for the donation. 72 grad came back to Nippert after many years. Ouch, better stay away. Traveled to Orange. Loss, sugar loss. Won't have to worry about a bowl this year. But thanks for the donation all the same.
I hear you, Georgia Bearcats. I mean, I kind of did that same thing too. I went to both the Orange and the Sugar Bowl, and like, gosh, especially the Sugar Bowl, and you guys can attest.
That had nothing to do with you, Brent.
Oh no, I'm just saying that it was like it just felt like it was I don't know, vibes were high, this, that, and the other, and then just a slap, a dose of reality. Maybe that's kind of what this team's getting, just seeing how. Even the Big 12 is just a slap.
There was a reason I did not go to the Sugar Bowl. You could see that one coming a mile away.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
right. It was weird, but fun to be on Bourbon Street. Cool to see Travis Kelce shouts. But anyway, yes.
You
Just a
probably
tough.
are why he
tough
got
game.
suspended for a year. He hung out with you that night on Bourbon Street, and
It was fun. It was fun. I was.
next thing you know, he wasn't allowed to come back for a year.
I will not say that I was a part or was not a part, and we'll just leave it at that. But yeah. Aside from that, Chad, obviously you've been in every press conference with Sat. Yes, obviously that last play, the non-called DPI that he won, that he wanted. Sorry. Obviously that is going to fuel you to get you frustrated, but it did seem like he's also like it's kind of like a culmination of just like he's just not a happy camper right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, you put yourself in a position to go down and get a field goal or win the game, and you have two plays, one where a guy gets held coming out of his break, and the other one where he gets mauled before the ball gets there. Like, the coach is going to be pissed off. If he wasn't pissed off after that, when is he going to be pissed off? Like, that stuff carries over. So I'm not going to look too much into it other than he was pissed off when the game ended, and he was pissed off when he walked in the media room. That's not surprising.
I'm going to bring up one thing, and Ryan, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. So the opening drive offensively, obviously the team gets all the way into the red zone, and they're faced with a 4th and 1, decide to go for it instead of kicking the field goal. That's when Emory fumbled, and they were turned away, turnover on downs. And then again, later on in the game, it was another similar situation, a 4th and 2, I believe. And yet again, in field goal range, chip shot range for the most part, and go for it again and get denied again. 2 field goals that could have been had yet again there at the end of the game. You're only down 3. Is there a point where you can be too aggressive in those situations, or are you a proponent of saying, hey, yeah, in those situations, try and get, touchdowns if you feel like that's what you need to do?
I didn't mind it. I like the aggressiveness. I think that's something that I think Coach Fickle would have done too. I don't, and I think especially at the state we were at, kind of 4 games in a row, struggling in the red zone. The running game was kind of clicking. I like those calls. I think it's good because we weren't able to ever start fast, so might as well. Like, we're either going to keep doing what we've been doing, or we're going to take a little gamble here and kind of let the nuts hang, and let's go for it on 4th and 1, and let's try to get a touchdown for the first time in a long time. So I like the aggressiveness.
Yeah,
it wasn't like stupid aggressive. It wasn't a bad play call either.
right.
I like the first one. Like, I like setting that tone early, especially if Emory just gets the pull, like he just left it in there too long, trying to set up the pop to Peyton Singletary, who was open. The second one, I take the points. I mean, you're scratching and clawing. Like, I just think at that point in time, like, let's get some points on the board and like try to build some momentum. So I'm not angry that they went for it the second time. I just think, me personally, the second one, I would have just gladly taken the points and said, all right, we're going to chip away at this thing a little bit and see if we can get back in it.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, kind of time and score situation as well. They were, you kick a field goal, you're still down 2 scores. So I get certain things there at the end, but like you said, they hadn't scored in a while, and why not just kind of get that back, and then you can allow the defense to set up without a momentum swing,
Right.
So either way, it truly, like Sat said, hindsight 2020, because you never expect for the score to be like that at the end of the game, and then who knows what would have happened, changing this here or there.
Right.
Who knows?
You kick off, they take over at a different spot,
right?
Call different plays. the flow of the game changes completely.
Yeah, exactly. And 13 Walrus kind of rolls right into what I was going to come up with next, and that's just special teams. We need to have yet another discussion about special teams, because after trading punts, that's when Baylor had a kind of a big momentum play with that 41-yard punt return. Just another huge hole that was available for the Baylor return man to run through. Set up what would have been a really long extra point. Really long field goal, but just another snafu on special teams there. And then you look even further along. We got to talk about Braden Smith. We got to talk about Xavier Henderson. Just special teams as a whole for a while, and we mentioned it last week a lot. And it used to be kind of a pillar of the Cincinnati teams, especially during this special run of the last 5 years. But man, first off, that long punt return kind of gave them their first points, and then the Braden Smith play. It's the special teams as a whole, man. I don't know if there's an easy fix. I heard Keegan mention it about DJ Taylor being, he's kind of known as a return specialist at Arizona State. We've yet
Try
to see
something
him.
else.
Yeah, we've yet to see him back there. The whole thing is just it's hard to stomach. But man, I've never seen a play like the Braden Smith play, where it just literally bounced right out of his hands into Baylor's hands, and they ran it in. It was just awe. I was in awe. Royer, what were you thinking about when you saw that? It just seemed like a discombobulated play right from the get-go.
It reminded me of what's goddamn, I'm blanking on his name. The lineman that picked up the ball at Indiana and started running with it, and
John
got
Williams.
stripped. I knew his name was John. I couldn't think of Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, and I was like, "Holy shit!" You could just when bad shit happens, it always gets worse. It seems like I was just in disbelief, but yeah, it was very bad. I couldn't believe it.
And it was weird because the opening kickoff, Xavier Henderson kind of just ran right into the first Baylor player that he saw and kind of just got tackled right away. And then you saw Braden Smith tell Xavier that they're going to switch. And then that happened. I don't know. The whole thing just seems like it was discombobulated. And that's the play that everyone kind of mentions, especially Sat mentioned it a few times in the post-game press conference. Says that's just not a play that you can that can happen. You cannot do that. And so I don't know. Maybe we'll see some changes. Maybe we'll see different things that could kind of help out special teams in somehow, some way. But man, that was a rough play to stomach.
You just can't. You just can't. Like you're trying to win Power 5 football games.
Yeah,
you cannot hand the ball to the other team on the 10-yard line and let them walk into the end zone. You can't.
I don't think you can let him return another kick.
No,
not a kick. Not a punt.
You have to make a change. The problem is the guy you most likely would make a change with, especially on punts, is hurt with Ryan Montgomery. Right. Hopefully we get to see him back soon, as somebody said earlier in the chat. But on kickoffs, I mean, you have DJ Turner, you have Aaron Turner, DJ Taylor, Aaron Turner. You have guys back there that can do it. Like, just put somebody back there and give them a shot. Like, I think Braden Smith has been really good in the slot, but on special teams, he's not been good enough to continue running out there.
Right.
DJ Taylor,
the staff trusts him.
DJ Taylor was a Pac-12 leader last season in return yardage.
Yeah. Try somebody
else. You have options.
I even turned to Aaron in the press conference, in the press box, and I said, and I get the whole red shirt thing and games played and whatnot, but why not try like Barry Jackson out there? That
I
we've
mean, you don't
seen.
have to. You have other guys that have
Right.
proven prolific at it. You don't
Yeah.
have, like, that's the point, Brent. You don't have to dig at the bottom of the roster to like figure
right.
this out.
I
Like, the
agree.
answers are right there in front of your face.
Yeah, I agree. But if they haven't made that decision already, it's like, all right, let's throw something out there. I don't know. It's just I don't know.
I'm so in on this wig.
Yeah, me too. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like the added extra point of emphasis that it gives me.
It does. It gives you good extra emphasis. But yeah, I don't know. It just the special teams aspect of things is just really not good. It's
Natty Ron,
hard.
we just had Wes on the show, 2 weeks ago, Aaron?
I can get you the date.
Yeah, it was 2 weeks ago.
Post a link in the chat if you can. We talked to Wes recently, Natty Ron. We do a lot of shows. We do a lot of shows. Sometimes it's tough to keep up with everything. So yeah, but we have talked to Wes here recently.
So we'll see if maybe there's some change. I don't know. On the road at Stillwater, which is obviously the next game, we'll kind of flag it down. I mean they're playing at a high level right now, but
I'm not looking forward to that one.
I know. I don't know if that's a place where you make a bunch of like big changes like that, because you could potentially see another Braden Smith play happen, and then that's a floodgates opening type situation if that happens on the road at night in a situation like that. So I don't know, but something needs to change. It's just a lot of things not going the Bearcats' way when it comes to special teams. But one thing that did go their way, the offense as a whole, I think you can take a step back and look at that rushing attack, which is like, wow, that was a clinic, and they did a very good job at having a handful of explosive plays, being able to break tackles. It seemed like at a fair amount of times. The passing attack though was something that seemed to be kind of missing, but at times a few of the throws looked very good. It just seems like when one thing's working, the other thing starts to get off a little bit, and I don't know if that's game plan thing where it's like, okay, we're running the football well, let's continue doing that, or if it's more of a situation where they're starting to see that we need to do more running because that's what we can have success with, and that's what they did have success with until it came to the very end.
Yeah, but here's the reality. It's football in 2023. If you can't pass the ball, especially with a rushing attack like that, Emory Jones did get going a little bit in the fourth quarter, or late in the third into the fourth quarter.
Yep.
But for 2.5 quarters, they were under 100 yards passing. If you can't move the ball through the air in today's college football, you're going to have trouble winning, because, I mean, Baylor hit 2 of those over the top that, like, it just puts immense pressure on you.
Mm-hmm.
And it changes the game, Cincinnati goes up 7-3 and then bam. That was the play that they hit against cover 2, right? Where I don't know what Brian Threats was doing. Like, you have to be over the top on that play. You cannot be flat. Like, you are support over the top on a guy that, like, a burner, a guy that can get down the field. And you leave your cornerback just hanging out to dry when you take the angle that he took.
Yeah.
You can't be in cover 2 and the safety is 2 steps behind the play. Like that it doesn't work like that. It can't work like that. And Cincinnati doesn't right now. They don't have that ability. They can't punish teams if they come up to try and stop the run. And that hurts.
Yeah. And
so even like they had almost 300 yards rushing, and still only scored 29 points.
Yeah. And shouts to Kerry Hoffman. He does a really good job with his punt further review articles. But man, it's a pretty jaw-dropping stat to see when two players have rushed for 100 yards in the same game coming into this season. Royer, listen to this stat. Coming into this season, the Bearcats are 12-0 all time when they have two running backs that rush for 100 yards or more. This year, in two different games, Cincinnati has had two players rush for 100 yards or more, and in both of those games, they've been losses. It was the game against Miami and this past Saturday against Baylor. I mean, make it make sense. Make it make sense.
When did I have the freak out? Was it after Oklahoma? When I was like, what was the amount of like yards we had on offense to points?
Yes, it was the after BYU the bye game.
Yeah. It's just like those things just don't ever align, and we're finding ways to make them align just in frequent order. Like I would love to see the statistical probability of some of these stats that.
Well, I mean, we told you that Miami and BYU were the worst games in the nation in terms of the team that's supposed to have won lost. They were last. Yeah. The team that won was least expected to win of any game in the nation where that team won. 2 out of 3 times. 2 out of 5 times.
And like back then, it was like, man, like we're close. We're close. Like we could be this record. But now we've like rattled off 5 of these in a row, and it's like, how close are we? Like the margin might be like this much on the scoreboard on the stat sheet, but something is telling me that the margin is way bigger because we keep doing it, and we keep doing it with the same mistakes that aren't getting addressed.
Well, no, that's the problem, Ryan. They are, and then something else pops up. Like they were 7 of 15 on third down. They scored 2 touchdowns in the red zone. The other 2 times in the red zone they didn't score was because of the 4th down where they could have kicked field goals and gotten points on those trips. Like it's something different is springing a leak. Against Iowa State it was kick return. Against Baylor it's punt return. It's like something every game is like what the.
I guess I meant like the leaks just.
I know.
Keep up. Like it's like that pipe in the basement. You patch one, and boom, it pops out down the next week, and you got caulk all over this pipe. And
what?
We need a new pipe. Got some caulk, a little caulk on your pipe.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about. Come on.
Oh, all right. Oh yeah.
Yeah, Bob Ross loves caulk on his pipe.
Yeah,
that's the frustrating part is it's like, they spend the week kind of addressing this and then it's that. And then, they're okay, well, we'll move over here and address that. And then this pops back up. And it's ultimately though, Dave had a stat today that he put on the board that puts it all in detail.
What?
They haven't had a lead in the second half since Miami.
Yeah.
They have not had a second half lead in any of the 4 Big 12 games.
Yep.
That's not a team that's close.
No.
That's just not a team that's close.
Right. Well,
if you don't have a lead at any point in the second half of any of these games.
Yeah. It's like what Royer said, like yet another game where Cincinnati didn't build a lead in the first half and then had the ability to control the game. And, the last time it happened was at Pitt, and it turns out Pitt's terrible.
They beat Louisville.
Yes,
Louisville's fucking awesome, remember?
Yeah.
Listen to Louisville fans. Tell us how fucking awesome they are, and they lost to Pitt.
Right. But
they came through once for us.
Yeah, and then they lost to Wake Forest. I mean, they're a bad team. And now we're looking back.
They got kind of screwed.
They did. But
I'm bad.
They're not good, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready to say they're bad, but I know certainly they are not good.
The only thing that makes you say
at some point in the second half of the last 4 games.
Talent. They're not a bad roster. They're a bad team. I'll put it like that.
And it's something like, okay, so take that 1 year, not not 2021, but like it might have been 2019 where just you guys figured out ways to win games.
18 and 19.
Yeah, 18 at time. Just each game seemed like it had the opportunity to kind of go to the wayside, and yet you guys figured out a way to win the game. That's how these things start.
We had better players with a better, tighter culture than we do now.
Right.
So that's
right.
it's like two positives combining, which we don't have either of those right now. So but I didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry.
No. I mean, you're right.
You know what we didn't know in 2018 and 2019? We had no clue in those years that Defoe was going to be an NFL starter, that
right.
Kobe was going to be a regular NFL guy, that Sauce was going to be first team All-Pro, that like it just continue going down the list. Like
even
we
Dez
saw those
and
guys.
Alec. Yeah.
Right. We saw those guys coming into their own, but like we had no clue at that point what really was in the pipeline and, was in the oven cooking. And this year, the problem is there aren't any young guys. Very few.
Yeah.
Very few guys that have, remember the young guys like class of 21, 22, 23, the COVID year's gone.
Yeah.
If you came in 21. So like these guys are the guys that are supposed to be entering into being the top of the roster, and there's just so few of them. There are important ones that have left. You're looking at what's next, and we're probably not close to seeing this roster where it needs to be to consistently win games in this league. That's the bitter truth about it right now.
We're proving that the portal can't save us. we thought it
it's
was
a supplement. It's not an answer. It's a supplement.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what I was saying last week. You can't build a team off that. It's not
Colorado's finding that out the hard way.
Yes.
Yeah, you're building a team with
and they have five
stars
at the top.
Correct.
A house might stand up and it might take some wind, but when shit gets bad, like that house is going down. And I think our house has been down and it's getting scattered across the ground pretty far right now.
Ryan, I want your opinion on something. Did things change when Free left in terms of the type of guys that were coming in? Because it doesn't feel like that group after Freeman left, 21, 22, 23 classes, were what we saw in 17, 18, 19, 20.
I never thought of it like that. My opinion would be is I think that the staff got very focused on the team and because they saw the window, they saw the opportunity.
Yeah.
And not that they weren't paying attention to recruiting, but I think it was the coaches were just locked in on film on just all year. We were meeting all the time, going over shit constantly. There was a big focus on the team the whole year, more than I ever thought there would be. There was a constant process, constant evaluation, constant improvement. And it wasn't like that the first they kind of built into it. And then it got to the point where the last 2 years, we were a well-oiled machine year round, just on top of our shit all the time. Film, extra little workouts, you name it, we were doing it. And the coaches had their fingerprints all of it. So I don't know if they were kind of honing more in on the team and not paying attention to the recruits, but maybe it was something.
But there's definitely been a drop off, and it's hard to say because so many of those guys left.
Yeah,
guys in the transition.
Left. And maybe that you're seeing the coaches kind of took chances on guys that they thought would flourish in the culture we had, and for the way kind of everything ended and Fick just left and everyone cleaned house, like you're seeing, there might be some guys that were on like a 4-year plan or like a 3-year plan that kind of got cut in half or didn't get the like the attention they needed in their development. But that's kind of speculation on my end, though. But I don't know.
Yeah.
You can't see me because my camera's turned off. I'm sweating like a pig right now from having that afro on. Trying to cool down for a second.
But yeah, Roy, I kind of agree about, once you see that you've got the chance to do something special, and the recruiting department then was also just 2 people pretty much. This
but
now,
that raises the question: is did things dip a little bit when Bowden left?
right.
Because he was a maniac.
Chad is a savant of recruiting.
Well,
And Freeman, they were like so good together too, and they both left. That's where you see Notre Dame climb the mountain.
Right, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Dave brought this up on the brunch on Sunday, and kind of a deep dive here. I have 21 pulled up. The contributors from 21 on this roster: Brian Threats, Jack Dingle, Shimon Mater, Miles Montgomery, Dante Corleone, and Mason Fletcher. That's 21 out of the 24 guys. Those are your contributors. That's not great.
And then now do 22 and 23.
22. You have
Jonathan Thompson and
Jonathan Thompson, and potentially if Gillison gets a start next week, that'd be your class of 22.
Yeah, depending on Greshik and how he's doing.
Right. That's your whole class of 22.
And Jonathan Thompson was the lowest rated recruit in that class. Tyler Gillison was the second lowest rated recruit in that class.
That's it. 23. Nothing doing.
Yeah. JQ gone, JoJo gone, Richardson gone, Eugenio gone, Burrows gone, Peterson gone, Dalton here.
Freeman left. I think he essentially said, "I need a blank check for Chad Bowden." It was really smart.
Kind of. Well, I don't think it mattered because I think Bowden was just going like Free's the one that gave him his shot. Because remember, Bowden came in as an intern for Freeman.
Yeah.
And started in his office. And I think once Marcus was gone, I think if Marcus would have, if there's at any point where Marcus came back, Bowden would have come back. Like those two are, tied at the hip.
Yeah, you know what I would love? I would love if, Satterfield blows this shit up a little bit. Freeman loses a couple more games. Get our guy back here.
Bring Bree home.
Bring Bree home.
We're gonna have to put that on a table for about 2.5 more seasons.
Yeah.
What is the one tweet? If every donor pays how much X amount of money, we can.
It's not happening, Ryan. We're not
that?
the other shitbag podcasts that cover UC. We're not doing that.
Oh, I just thought that was funny, and I knew you'd get into it, Chad. I saw that on Twitter. I just laughed to myself.
Well, let's give some flowers out a little bit. It's not all doom and gloom.
I don't want to.
We mentioned the rushing attack being on, but I thought that we saw some glimpses of some pretty cool play designs, especially in the red zone and also on the 2-point conversion, where you kind of saw a little bit of what Coach Sat can bring to the table as far as just getting exotic with it. Obviously he knew that there's difficulties of scoring once you get close to the end zone. And I thought, in the second quarter, the one, play design where you rolled Emery out and you had the 2 receivers out there that kind of, did a little bit of a double move, both of them, and was able to find in the back of the end zone for a good score. Xavier Henderson, and then of course the jumbo package again with Dante on one side and Jawan on the other side. And by the way, Dante Corleone had one hell of a block on that play. Just
He
completely.
could be a guard.
Yeah,
He could be a guard.
he destroyed his guy. And that's literally right where the run went to. But also on that play, they had Caleb Schmitz behind Emory when Emory was under center, and then Miles Montgomery on one side, Corey Kiner on the other side. So I imagine, they went right with it. I imagine they can go left with it, give the ball to Kiner if they decided that in the future as well. And then, of course, the 2-point conversion was just a thing of beauty, where you kind of just get that circus look and have all this distraction on the far side. And then Evan Prater hikes the ball and rolls out and catches the pass. It's just a really cool play design to see. So I thought there were some good things there, and potentially could bode well for the future because those were places where they struggled. And
you also have to look at
sport.
play design in the run game because it was known coming in that Baylor was weak on the edges against the run. And there was some fantastic run design out wide that exploited their weakness really well.
Right.
That's how you get two guys up over 100 in a game is you have good play design that goes after whatever weakness the other team has shown. Baylor shown through 7 games they couldn't stop outside zone. Cincinnati just punished them with outside zone. They just couldn't throw the ball well enough in the first 2.5 quarters to even it out and then get more points on the board.
Yeah. And I thought Corey ran with a lot of purpose in this game.
Yeah.
He looked like he was kind of trying to hit that extra gear. Obviously, he's not going to blow anyone away with speed, but he definitely had some punishing runs. And then I think we saw our first glimpses of what we all expected out of Miles Montgomery. I mean, his long touchdown run, the 38-yard one, he literally was bottled up, nothing there, spun, and then broke one tackle and was able to prance into the end zone. So
he broke one tackle. That's what's been missing.
Yeah.
Make the one guy miss. Make the guy. There's one guy between you and the end zone. Make him miss, and you can run in for a touchdown. And it finally happened.
And that's what Sat said before the year. He said this offense, I'm going to set these running backs up to be one-on-one with the safeties a lot, and you're going to have to make a man miss, and then you can run as far as you want. And yeah, we finally started to see that a little bit in this game. So I mean, hats off to the offense in those areas. And also Shimon Mateer, yet again, really seemingly becoming the security blanket over the middle for Emory. And that's going to only bode well for the development of Shimon, as he is one of the only few young players on the team that's getting the snaps, that's getting the ability to show you, okay, the future could be bright because we've got this playmaker right here. So shouts to him as well. And then sadly, the doom and gloom side of things, defensive backfield is tough. And Chad and Aaron and Ryan, you guys' thoughts on Sat's comments when in regards to the defensive backfield, because I thought it was very candid that the players that are playing are out there because they have to be. In essence, saying that's what we've got right now. And we mentioned last year how we were going to start to see what life was like after Sauce. I think we are now seeing what life is like after Sauce, Kobe,
Arquan, JQ, or not
Jaquan.
Jaquan. These guys didn't play DB, Aaron.
I know, but still, it's life after Dez.
Yeah, but
great point.
Just a good candid response, because obviously it's a glowing area that has been a struggle spot. That one deep ball that you were talking about, Chad, that was in the second half where it was double coverage and Chapin put a good ball, but
your safety has to be over the top to break that up, or you can't come like I don't. I don't understand the math on how threats ended underneath the play.
Yeah.
It doesn't add up to me.
And then another 50-50 like air float ball that, you got 3 defenders there. You got to make a move on the ball. And then all of a sudden it just doesn't happen. And then of course that one 3rd and long that they've got a guy streaking across the middle wide open.
Yep.
It's just simply like plays that can't happen.
Well, one of the questions I brought up to Keegan on Saturday night, and I'll ask you guys here, is the 2 groups that we're complaining about the most right now are special teams and the secondary. And there's one person in charge of both of those groups. And that's Kerry Combs. Is it time to have a Kerry Combs discussion, despite what he brings to recruiting, at least historically has brought to recruiting, and the fact that he is Cincinnati?
It's a tough conversation. He just got a big raise. I think a 3-year deal, or it's.
Do you at least consider right? Do you at least consider moving special teams off of him so he can focus solely on secondary?
I think special teams has been an unmitigated disaster. Like even the rake is not what he was kicking lines like flat, short line drives Saturday in perfect conditions.
There was no wind.
Perfect. Yeah. It was 60 degrees and calm. You have to look at something. You have to figure out something because and Ryan will attest to this. In a 4-year window, you guys won games with special teams multiple times, where special teams was the difference. And right now we are getting the polar opposite of that.
I agree more, and I think it's
not good
a big
enough.
Reason why we're like games that we lost where we should have won. I think special teams could have made a difference. Maybe not give us the win, but put us in better positions at certain scenarios, aka points not on the board, field position, momentum. That I don't know why every staff in America isn't obsessed with special teams like we were with Fickle. You're seeing that it's not like losing us games, but it's not helping us win when we need a lot of help.
Yeah, you can't lose the hidden yardage battle by 150 yards every week because your punts are short and you're giving up kickoff returns and you're giving up punt returns and you got guys that are letting the ball go out of bounds at the 1 yard line, even though it hit the pylon. But it has to be better. It has to be better because again, you're in a coin flip league. This is going to as soon as Oklahoma and Texas leave, this is going to be a coin flip league for the foreseeable future. There has not been anyone that has really separated from this pack yet in the recruiting rankings far enough where, look, man, let's just be honest with ourselves. If you were down there when Oklahoma walked on the field, all of us went, oh, this is a lot different than that. And look, Iowa State, it wasn't as bad, but it was still bad. And Baylor, it was a little bit below Iowa State, but still, their dudes look huge. They look bigger across the board, on the lines, the linebackers, the DBs, the wide receivers. They have better rosters. And Cincinnati has, even with all that said, Cincinnati has enough talent to be in the game every week.
Yeah.
But the mistakes are mind-numbing. They are infuriating. And you can't, are some of them on coaching? Yeah, sure. Have yourself a field day with that. But if you're telling yourself it's all coaching, you're lying to yourself. Guys aren't going out and stepping up and playing above their level. They're playing below their level more often than not.
Yeah. And I mean, the Sammy Anderson situation is obviously tough.
But that's football.
Right. No, I know. I'm just saying it just.
I know, but guys get hurt. Like you have
right.
to.
It's another thing that just adds on top. But yeah, but the Chad and we've talked about it a lot during the offseason is the two positions that are the most difficult to really enhance your team through the transfer portal is offensive line and then defensive like edge rushers. And you're seeing this year that, you know what, all these like stud offensive linemen that are playing for these other big name schools, they're either developed through the other program to the point where now they are fourth year juniors, fifth year seniors, and they're big and they're playing at a high level, or they are transfers that came in because Oklahoma offered them a scholarship and recruited them through the portal. So it's got to be a developmental piece. And even like that Oklahoma game, as you mentioned, we were standing on the
Oklahoma side,
end zone line,
like by the student section,
right? And Jace Richardson's mom turns to me and goes, "Wow, these guys are a lot bigger than those guys down there." And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, but it's just like this, like it's a organic, you got to grow it type situation. I don't know. We'll see. It's
well, and we're learning something we didn't want to believe.
Yeah.
Replacing 14 guys in 2 years to the NFL is not something this program's ready to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like they hit gold. They hit gold with that group. Like giant pot of gold into the rainbow.
Yeah.
The leprechaun was there, playing his shillelagh, the whole 9 yards. But after the fact, it's really hard.
Yeah.
And they haven't done it. They haven't replaced them.
Aaron, were you about to say something?
Yeah. There was another question I wanted to bring up. In regards to the Bearcat Council, I don't know if you've heard about this, Ryan. It was mentioned in the post-game pressers.
Every team has this. This is something every team has. Is a group of veterans that.
If that's the case, why did it take until mid-season for them to form it?
No, it's been there all year.
I'm pretty sure Nico was
Ryan. Every team
Nico
has
told us about
right?
it. It was
you're on mute, Ryan.
You're muted.
Sorry, no, they had it before the season.
Okay.
Every team has. It's not something new. Yeah. It's just something that was mentioned that we met as a leadership council after the Iowa State game, which you're damn right you did, because that was embarrassing.
Like a players only meeting type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but of the core leadership of the team.
Yeah.
Every team has that. That's not anything new, and it's not new. Like that's what if you have that group, you damn well better have met after that Iowa State game.
Yeah. I mean, that's another thing to tip the hat to. They did genuinely have each other's backs out there, and they did genuinely cheer each other on the whole game.
The energy was excited
after that threats hit when they got flagged for running on the field and waving towels and spraying water everywhere. I was fired. I'm like, that's what I'm fucking talking about. Like that's what we didn't see against Iowa State. Nobody had a pulse.
Until Emory got sacked 3 straight times. It's like, oh, geez. But that's a different story. But yeah, it's good to see those side of things where, that juice wasn't there. And I was even talking about it before the game. The team's going to have to start to build their own juice because sadly the way it is the crowd's going to start to slowly not disintegrate, but it's going to be a little bit more like on edge. And so the team's got to be the one really providing their own energy, because once they start to show something, that's when the crowd will get back involved and back and giving them the excitement they need.
And you saw that in the second half.
Yeah, right. I agree. But I don't know. It is what it is.
But you also can't go up 7-3, immediately give up a touchdown.
Yeah.
And then like Carrie wrote in the further review today.
Yeah.
Cincinnati scores a touchdown to go up 7-3. You go take a piss. By the time you sit back down, it's 17-7.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck just happened?
Oh,
I took a
mind-boggling.
piss. I got a Cincy Light. I sat back down. We were up 4. We're down 10. How?
Gosh, I was whispering in Aaron's ear, "We're back, baby. We're so back." Didn't quite turn out. But it's weird.
Have you asked Zach to move yet?
I'm just gonna go start sitting in Justin Williams' seat.
Yeah, if he's not going to show up, go take his seat. Fuck that guy.
Aaron, I'll find a way to get into your ear some way, somehow. So
I don't doubt that. You're so weird.
Move as you will. I'll always be there. Yeah, it's
uncomfortable.
It sucks. Okay, let's talk about the last drive. Royer, your thoughts on defensive pass interference in situations like that? I mean, we already mentioned it. Your Brownies actually lucked out in favor for them on Sunday with situations like this, but it did look like on that last set of downs, first Braden Smith coming out of a break, looked like he was out and pretty blatantly obvious. Should have been a DPI. And then the very next play, it's a pass to Shaman on 4th and 11, and
he was wearing him like a backpack.
And the defender was draped all over him. It would have been short of the yard to gain, but it was still another defensive pass interference. In moments like that, do you think that certain, and I don't want to get into ref talk, but where it's like a whistle is swallowed and they kind of are telling the players need to go and figure it out in these end game situations, because it did feel like it was kind of a bit of a hose job there at the end.
Yeah, I mean, refs are always going to make bad calls, but I don't know. You want to tell your players, like, play through the bad calls, go make the play. But, if you're targeting a guy running a out route at the sticks and he's getting held and the quarterback throws the ball where he should be, it's kind of like there's not really a way to play through that or play around it.
Yeah.
But you just got to put yourself in position to succeed and hope that if there is a penalty that it'll get called. But, also it's never good to be playing behind and having to put yourself in those situations. It's kind of stereotypical. You want to be the one that's on the other side of it, having to make a stop. But I don't know. It's hard. It's hard because it's not like we didn't lose that game because of that. And who knows if we would have got that call, we could have made a bonehead mistake like we've been accustomed to making these past 5 weeks in a row, just to put everything down the shitter. But
and lost in this whole discussion about lack of a penalty flag being thrown there, Emory put a beautiful ball that went through the hands of Xavier Henderson that would have put the Bearcats in field goal range 2 plays prior to these 2 flags. And in the end, your players got to make plays. It was a great pass, coverage was there, but it literally went right through his hands. I hate the whole flag thing because, yes, there are certain situations, and it does feel like there's been a lack of DPIs called against, in favor of UC, which I went back and looked. There's been 7 called against the Bearcats and only 3 called in favor of the Bearcats throughout the whole year. Obviously, that is what it is. I honestly thought it was going to be a little bit higher of a discrepancy, but
they don't throw jump balls, though.
Yeah, right.
There's been no back shoulder throws. There's been no 50-50s. Generally, when they've thrown deep, Emory Jones has airmailed the target by 3 yards.
Yeah, right.
And there's no chance for for a pass interference or a hand fighting or
Right.
whatever. Like, they're not giving themselves the opportunity. And we've seen teams as their entire offense at times just we're throwing up a 50-50 ball.
Yep.
And we feel good that we're going to get, of the three outcomes, a catch, incomplete, pass interference, that it's going to be one of the two of the three. And we haven't talked about it nearly enough. This team can't take the ball away. It is. You want to point to special teams, great. You want to point to lack of a passing game, great. But goddamn hiccups. But every game there's a dropped interception.
Yeah.
Every game there's an opportunity to change the flow and the momentum of the game, and they drop it. I don't know what, again, the coaching staff draws it up, puts you in a position, and you don't make the play. Maybe that's the whole synopsis of the season. Guys are in position to make plays that they're not making. Right? Good, they're making the worst of it when we have the ball. They're making the least of it when they have the ball. It's a confluence of all of the bad things. Can't give up a big return. Guy gets a big return. Have to get an interception. Quarterback throws the ball to a defensive back. Drop. Can't turn it over. Fumble. Interception. It's have to get a field goal. Blocked.
Yeah. I mean, 116th in the country in interceptions is where the Bearcats currently rank. They're 108th in turnover margin. And these are supposed to be the two stats that a Brian Brown defense is
Sacks
near
and
the top
turnovers.
of the – yeah.
What did we talk about last week? It's a boom or bust defense, and all we're getting is bust. There's no boom.
Yeah.
Woof.
I mean,
Or as Thrifty Walrus said, it's the bend and break defense.
yeah. I mean, true. I don't know, man. It's tough. It is tough. Let's see here. So 50th.
I don't have any. We've been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm out of things to say.
Yeah, me too. Let's go ahead and timestamp it. In the end, another tough loss, 5 straight, 32-29. But the good thing about, college sports is there's another game. There's another game coming up next Saturday.
Are you sure that's a good thing?
Yeah.
Because I think it's probably going to get ugly in Stillwater. I'm not looking forward to. I might skip Wednesday night's podcast.
Royer, 29 carries, 282 yards, 4 touchdowns. That is what Oklahoma State running back Ollie Gordon II had on Saturday at West Virginia.
Let's go. Sign us up.
Oh, yeah. And they finally chosen a quarterback, Alan Bowman, the former Texas Tech and Michigan quarterback. They finally said, all right, let's roll with you. But Coach Gundy said Cincinnati is the best defensive line he's seen all year.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. Quick Paper services over 150 restaurants with weekly low minimum next day deliveries. They provide a wide range of food service products from to-go containers, cups, custom printed products, eco-friendly, and much more. They also have cleaning and restroom supplies for all your janitorial needs. Call Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Glad he got all those yards and touchdowns out of his system before playing UC.
Yeah, I agree. Thrifty Walrus.
Thrifty Walrus, Aaron, is back to being our number one commenter. He's back with the heat.
If you
Outside
did
of Steve
know,
from Oklahoma.
Steve from Oklahoma holds a special place in my heart.
If you didn't know, now you know. Not one, but two commitments coming today. Both of them flips. Flip, flip, flip. Game over. Um, One is a 3-star offensive lineman, Aiden Pastoriza, 6'7", 250 pounds, out of Michigan. And then, of course, Georgia defensive lineman, Lendrick Barber, another 3-star coming in, committed to the Bearcats. Obviously, there's talk around these commitments, but hey, two more additions to the class. Chad, Aaron, Ryan. Chad, will fire it over you first. Thoughts on the commitments and kind of just furthermore what they do for the whole entire class.
So kind of what I was told, as we got to the end of that like commitment cycle, in August or whatever, after the official visits, and it looked like things had settled down. I said, what's it look like the rest of the way? And I was told the rest of the way we are going to be scouring the tape, looking for bodies, O-line, D-line. We're pretty happy with what we've got on the skill positions. We got our quarterback. We need better and more guys in this class in the trenches on both sides of the ball. We saw that with the commit a couple weeks ago. We see it today with Pastoriza on the offensive line. And then you go out and get a, 6'3", 305-pound defensive lineman that, they don't have a lot of those guys. There's not a lot of those dudes on this roster. So, it's at worst, they're depth pieces that develop and you see where they are in 2-3 years once you get them into the program. But I know Pastoriza is a guy that the staff really liked and really had been working on for a while. Had him to town a couple weeks ago, and things went really well. And clearly, look, if you're an offensive lineman and you're a tackle and you're looking for a place to go that might need you sooner than later, watch the tackle play here, especially on passing downs. But he's a guy that plays in more of a run-centric offense right now, so probably going to have to work a little bit on those pass protection skills. But super long, 6'7", 250. These are the guys I think need to be the focus. Those guys that are 6'5", 300 pounds. We saw 6 years of them, and none of them really splashed. So let's try something different. Let's defy the definition of insanity, which is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting the same results. Let's look at a different crop. Let's look at a different group to see if what you can find is more suitable. And I will say, this is a recruiting staff that loves game tape. Like, they are scouts. That's why they were brought here. They are much more than rah-rah, getting on the phones and sending out 503 mailers to a recruit. Not that stuff's not effective, but these are guys that are legit, like, grinding tape and evaluating guys. And they said they were going to place a high priority on trying to find some guys that maybe were just off the radar or right on that line that put up really, really good senior tape. And this is these are both guys that have fit that bill, put up good senior tape. Hey, there's a place for you.
Yeah, which is why I loved what Jack Griffith tweeted out, because obviously fans are taking the whole. Some fans are taking the whole, flipped him from Central Michigan to Cincinnati, and then also referencing, the fact that they flipped Barber from Coastal Carolina to Cincinnati. And then so Griffith comes out on Twitter and says, "Trust the process, trust the game tape." So it's not like anything else matters to them other than what you were saying, Chad, what they see on the film. And if they didn't like what they saw, they wouldn't try to flip these guys. They wouldn't try to recruit them. You know what I mean? So it's just it's a process, and sadly at this point, you do have to trust the process. And yeah, I mean 6'7", man, like long, and from the tape that I've seen, he looks like he's pretty athletic. It's not like he's just like a tall, Ovi type guy. So I don't
He
know.
stood out when he came to visit Cincinnati. I asked somebody who he was because he was so damn tall. Like,
Yeah,
I mean, he was kind of standing off to the side, not in like the group on the sidelines with everybody. And I'm just like, who's that? What does he do?
right. It's a big dude. What's up, Shaman? Royer getting a shout out from Shaman and Chad.
He also
Shaman? How you doing, brother?
he also has according to his Twitter profile, an 83-inch wingspan and a 9-foot broad jump.
Hey, we'll take those, man. We will absolutely take those. And then of course, we mentioned another Georgia prospect, from the state of Georgia, which is we've touched on how strong the high school sports are there in Georgia. So obviously getting a player like Kendrick Barber as well just fits that size profile for the defensive line that the team's going to miss in the next coming of years. Obviously with Dante and Jawan eventually moving on to the NFL. So yeah, I mean, just you gotta look beyond what you can just simply see and understand that this is a deep and talented recruiting staff, and when they burn the tape and they watch it and they like what they see, they're going to go after guys. So I'm all for it. As far as basketball recruiting goes, Chad, you had an update on Travis Perry after his visit. Boogie Flan is a name that I mentioned to you, Chad, that he committed to Kentucky at the end of last week. This is kind of that combo guard profile that is what Perry pretty much will be. That point guard could probably play off ball too. Doesn't have a direct exact impact on things, but it definitely helps aid a little bit to the continued recruitment of Perry. And aside from your thoughts on it, seems like everything went pretty well on Perry's visit, and now it's inching closer to a pending decision coming up within the next probably month.
Yeah, I mean, I said what I said. it's on the board. That's we got to make him pay for something, Brent.
Yeah, I agree.
It's visit was good. They went to Top Golf. I'm sure that's something he liked. They had dinner at Wes's house as a team after the game. I'm not sure what everything sounds like they checked the boxes. Guess we'll see where it goes from here. I would think within we're 2.5 weeks roughly or so, 3 weeks from signing day.
Yeah.
I would it sounds like all intent from the family is to sign on in the early period. So we're down the stretch. It's just a matter of seeing what he does.
It is jaw dropping to listen to. In 7th grade, he averaged 25 points for the varsity basketball team. In 8th grade, he averaged 28 points. In the 9th grade, 10th grade, and then 11th grade, he averaged 35 last year. He's going to be one of he is the all-time leading scorer in the state of Kentucky, right? I believe that's the case. And then he's going to be one of the 5 or so high school basketball players to score over 5,000 points in their career, which is just
I don't know. Can he get to 5?
I was watching a video that said he's close to it. I don't know how many points is needed. Probably
I don't think he's at 4 yet.
Is he not at 4 yet?
I think he's a little. I don't know. The last I remember, it was 3-something, which is still insane to score 3,000 points.
And how about like, I mean, I don't know what his, okay, so he, as of, it says Perry averaged 32 points, blah, blah, blah. Entered the state tournament with 43-17.
Oh, wow.
21 points shy of breaking the career scoring record of 43-37. So I think he obviously beat it.
He can get to 5 then, yeah.
Yeah, so.
That's bananas.
What's
up, Shimon? Sorry, I was away for a second.
It is insane.
Good to see you, brother.
But yeah, so would love to bring him in, and obviously he's at the top of the target list for the class. So we'll see how that goes, especially as the decision looms.
It'd be real nice on basketball signing day to Tyler McKinley, Tyler Betsy, Travis Perry. Like, all right, there's our 3 high school guys.
Yeah,
and we'll see what breaks from there. 3
top 100 players, not too shabby. And then obviously basketball media days last week. You Dave and Keegan kind of touched on it a little bit. Obviously, the news is out about the whole waiver process. With both Aziz and Jamil. Just now it's a time to hit it head on. I thought Wes was pretty straightforward with his frustration and with his saying that they laid out everything that they saw was a perfect reason for them to be able to be eligible because they fit every category that the NCAA was asking for. The whole thing is obviously just it's a black eye on the NCAA. It's just hard for this whole policing, this, that, and the other. But obviously, West has been hitting it head on and wants to make the right decisions, make the right moves necessary for. And he keeps mentioning he doesn't want to dive into Aziz or Jamil's life. He wants to kind of let them live, but he is fighting for them because it's what is right, and he wants to help them out in any way. So, yeah, going to be a interesting process as things play out 2 weeks out from the season.
Yep. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot else to say on the matter. Like, I talked about it for 4 days. Like,
yeah.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I would like to think that we would know something on the appeal one way or another from Aziz within a week.
Mm-hmm.
If not, it'll be interesting to see what UC's plan of action is if they drag their feet. We're 14 days from the start of the season. Like, let's get this done.
Yeah, me too. Is the second super secret scrimmage? That's still coming up, right?
It's this coming weekend against Indiana State. I'm not sure when. It's here, I believe. So,
well, 8 p.m. basketball game, and then football game. So, it'd be fun late Saturday night. But obviously, the super secret, not so super secret scrimmages are becoming ever more open to the public these days, which is pretty wild. I think I saw like Ohio State had like a full entire stream of one of their super secret scrimmages.
It's more open to the public than it is to the media at this point.
Yeah, no, that was a charity game.
Was that a charity one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Anthony Grant has a mental health charity, I think, for his daughter.
Okay.
And they had an exhibition, like a whatever against Ohio State that was open to the public and streamed and whatever.
I'm scared of how much money I would pay to watch a super secret basketball scrimmage these days with what's going on the other ends. But so I'm sure the reports will be out. It's funny because
I'm sure I'll have some info on the board.
Yeah, but it's funny looking at like Trilly Donovan all on Saturday and Sunday was just like posting like, per sources, Holy Cross beat Trinity.
Lehigh, yeah.
Yeah, it's like okay, all right, I guess we're back. College basketball's here, but yeah, so we'll have more of that as we inch closer to it, and obviously, as you know, next Monday we'll have more basketball talk because obviously it's the one right before, and then I guess with the Monday night game
We
following
might have to do
Monday,
Sunday.
yeah, do like a
next
Sunday
week.
pod, yeah, Sunday night pod. So yeah,
2
we'll
weeks.
we'll have more b-ball, man. It's right around the corner, and
Unless you guys want to sack up and rock an 11 p.m. BBP after the open season opener.
I mean, I'll do it from your couch right next to you, Chad. We can hold hands while we do it. But yeah, so it's almost here. We are Eric Hicks and Jackson Bart days away from the start of the old season. So it's gonna be exciting either way. But a lot can happen from now until then. So stay locked into BCJ as always. Let's go ahead and timestamp, and we'll dive into this BBP mailbag.
Quick Paper Supply, your local and family-owned restaurant supply company for all your non-food products. They provide mostly disposable restaurant supply products like to-go containers, cups, pizza boxes, to-go bags, can liners, napkins, etc. They've been open since 2009, are one of the largest minority-owned companies in the city. Call our guy, Nick, 513-470-2029, and reference Bearcats for 20% off your first month of purchases.
All right. Diving into the mailbag. The mailbag being brought to you by Home Field.
Ooh.
Let me get to that real quick. Home Field Apparel, your premium collegiate apparel brand based in Indianapolis. They have a commitment to creating incredibly comfortable, officially licensed apparel with vintage college designs. They have a growing collection, over 150 colleges to choose from, including the Cincinnati Bearcats. They have 2 full lines that they have released on Cincinnati. Just go to homefieldapparel.com and at checkout, enter BCJ23 for a one-time 15% off of your order. Home Field makes the best stuff. It's the most comfortable stuff that I have found in the collegiate landscape. I got the Bearcats baseball 1954. I'm rocking tonight from Home Field. So make sure you go to Home Field. They have the best hoodies. They have a great pair of joggers, a quarter zip. You name it, Home Field has got it. And hopefully one of these days we get a Bearcats bomber jacket. That's the only thing we haven't gotten yet.
All right, starting off in the football portion of the mailbag. This team is probably 5 plays going our way, away from having 3 more wins: Miami, BYU, Baylor. We have somehow found a way to make losing plays in all of those games. What does everybody think this can be attributed to? Bad luck, bad coaching, or a roster of guys that don't know how to win?
Where's the game breakers? Where are the guys that just go when you need a play? Like, that's the thing. That's the thing that we're not discussing enough is shit happens. You have occasionally a guy throws a pick six. Occasionally you give up a punt return. But where are the guys for Cincinnati that answer? You know, they had that finally. We saw a little bit of that life against Baylor to get back in it at the end. But we haven't seen it enough. It's, again, a team that has not held a lead in the second half since Miami. And that tells me they don't have enough dudes. Dudes that you just know, Ryan will attest to this. Throw the ball up to Alec and just have Alec go make a play, or give the ball to Mike Warren. And Mike Warren's going to figure out in the fourth quarter how to get shit done. There's not enough of those guys on this roster. What? James Wiggins is going to make a pick in the back end of the defense with the game on the line. James Wiggins or Derek Forrest are going to find a way to come up with the ball in their hands. And there's not been enough of those guys. There's not been enough of those plays. The lack of turnovers is just devastates you, because They've lost 108 in turnover margin. They're not creating their own destiny, which allows for all of your mistakes to pile up because you're not erasing any of them. You're not saying, okay, yeah, we screwed up, we made a bad play, like we're gonna go make it right. They're not making it right. They're not, they're not doing what is necessary to come out on the other end making enough plays to win. They just don't have enough guys that are difference makers over 4 quarters.
Team is not meshing with each other good enough. The staff isn't meshing with the players good enough. The staff isn't meshing with itself good enough. And you combine that with the playmakers that are able to just kind of change a game regardless of those factors I just laid out. And you're going to end up with 5 straight losses. You're going to end up with winnable games, ended up being a loss. Repeat that again. Right. So you don't have game breakers are huge, but a supplemental cast alongside them of just steady. You're confident that everyone's going to do their job and just be gritty and find a way to win. It might not be 11 guys that are just NFL talent, playmaking.
Yeah, but you can't, Ryan. You can't lean on that. You had NFL talent make plays.
No, I know.
Games.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if you combine those two things,
they have one thing. They have enough guys to hang around. They've hung around in every game but Iowa State. They've hung around fine.
Yeah,
but
right. What I'm saying is you don't have
if Dez wasn't Dez, we're seeing it in the NFL. He's not playing well, but guess what? He's finding a way to win games. He's playing well enough to go take them on the final drive, even though he had a 3 turnovers in the red zone. Had a bad day, but guess what? When the chips were down, Des Ridder got them in a position to win the game. That's having the problem is, Ryan, they've got too many that are just a bunch of guys that can make sure that they're around.
Yeah, I think we're kind of saying I think we're saying kind of the same thing, just that we don't have anything that we need.
Ask yourself this. Look at this roster. Who's on the NFL radar?
No one.
Dante, Jawan, Shimon.
Dante.
Okay.
Mason Fletcher.
There's 3 punters a year that make it in the NFL. He's not playing like an NFL punter this year.
Maybe DP. But yeah.
Somebody at the door? Did I hear that? What was that?
Not here.
What was that?
Royer's roommate. He's about to pop up. Here we go.
He's about to pop up. It's coming.
He's at the sink. He's doing some dishes.
Hey.
I'm just waiting to see him in a costume pop in for Halloween.
Look, Randy, of course, Marty Gilliard, but it was 15 years ago, Randy. 14 years ago. We're talking about new stuff.
All right. Will UC win another football game this year? If they could only win one more game, who do you want that game to be against?
Right now, I don't have any confidence that they will until they show me. We're in the, I see better than I hear portion of this fiasco. But the answer is, what a stupid question that is. Central Florida. Duh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just at this point in time, Central Florida and Cincinnati are at the bottom of the Big 12 at 0-4.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati has 1 win in the Big 12 in year 1. Central Florida.
Yes. 100%.
Period. Because also it's here. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to have to log out from Twitter for a week.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that.
But there's part of me that wants our first Big 12 win to be against an original Big 12 team. But
No,
also,
it doesn't. There's that part of you is wrong. Central Florida.
I mean that part of me is pretty not happy. But
Right, that part of you is wrong. But
so
you also don't want to lose 5 home games, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't want to lose 5 home games.
So I just looked real quick at the
and Kansas is here.
Just the
but
predictor.
it would be 5 straight home games.
Yeah, I looked real quick at like the percentage winning probability for the final games down the rest of the way. Only one game Cincinnati is projected to win, and
Do you know
that is Kansas at home.
Do you know
that is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life.
Interesting.
Do you know the last season Cincinnati lost 5 straight home games? Because I do, only because, and I'll give him his flowers. Keegan was looking it up right before we hopped on to either before or after we did the nightcap.
Yeah.
It was the same season we beat Wisconsin.
Yeah, and then they tanked the rest of the year. They beat Wisconsin, and then
been that long since we lost 5 straight home games.
Ron Dane played for that Wisconsin team
and won the Heisman.
Ron Dane is what, in his 50s? How old is Ron Dane?
Rick Minter was the coach.
I also came to the realization that my bet of 5 wins is very much in jeopardy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
And I was talking about, man, I should have put a band on that. I should have put that was me. That was me before the year. That was me after week 2. Like,
Royer.
Like 5K on
Royer, I've got a little bit of it at 4.5, over 4.5. And I'm still sitting here like shit. Like
I feel
no,
bad
yeah,
now.
I'm at the over 4.5 too, Brent. I need 5.
Oh,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
I hammered 5.5 and I hammered 4.5.
Oh.
And now I'm just sitting here like, hey,
please give me 5.
What do you feel?
L.
What do you feel bad about, Chad?
Ron Dane's younger than me.
Pain, bro.
I was making a joke about how fucking old Ron Dane is.
You walked right into that one.
Yeah, he's younger than me. Huh. By like 6 months, but yeah, he's younger.
Was that 98, Aaron?
So I'm just gonna do this to myself for the rest of it.
97?
Because
was it 97 or 98? It was
because 98 was the last time that they won only 2 games, and then so yeah, it might have been 97 because I'm not seeing Wisconsin there. Yeah.
All right. Wouldn't special teams be the first and easiest thing to fix? It's cost UC 2 to 3 wins. Do you think, Ryan, you've been on the inside? Do you think it would be the first and easiest thing to fix? You played special teams.
Yeah, but you'd have to revamp the whole opinion of it on the team, which isn't going to be easy. You'd have to start making guys literally fight tooth, scratch, and nail to be on the units. Like, and that might be, I don't feel like it's at that point right now. And that would be hard to get. But like we've said before, Coach Mason, like he wasn't doing easy shit. Like it wasn't easy for him to put that game plan together, put the practice plan together, and meet with us. Like that, it is not easy. And it's not easy to be elite at it. It requires elite attention, elite players, elite give a shit factor. And that's really hard to get all those together at once.
I'm curious, Royer. Luke, when you deal with position guys, they should have a different affinity for special teams because they had to play it. Like, you know,
position guys
for the most part, like not quarterbacks. That's kind of what I'm getting at here. Sat's quarterback. You think maybe quarterbacks don't have that maniacal responsibility to special teams like you saw is like, I'm guessing Fick played special teams, some special teams. The way that he cared about it, and the way that most football players early in their career, when you're in high school, you start on special teams, unless you're ridiculous. When you're in college, you start on special teams. If you're lucky enough to get to the NFL, you're playing a lot of special teams. Quarterbacks don't play special teams. Like, so is that maybe where
That's
you
valid.
see?
That's valid. Yeah,
I'm
that's
just
valid.
trying.
And-
like, look, man, there's been so much that's been going through my brain, trying to like figure
that's
this out.
very, very good point. And also, Fickle was a Trestle child
Sure.
who was, everyone knows about him in Columbus for being the special teams maniac. But no, I agree with you. Like, but we had guys like on our team, Fickle brainwashed special teams. We had like the quarterbacks were in the backup quarterbacks or the third string quarterback. They'd come to the special teams meeting, like, get me on the field, get me on the field. Like, special teams is so important. Like, this is how I make a name for myself. This is how I get reps, how I get snaps. You got that on special teams. So if you were a 2 or you were a 3 or a 4, and you were
your path to playing time was special teams.
Yeah, and your path to acknowledgement, your path to any bit of a chance to ever move up the ladder is on your special teams drills and practice in the off season, and then in season, and how you handled it in practice and in the game. It was, if you create it as like the tryout for your reps, like, you're gonna get like good ass players on there going hard as hell, which created a good
whatever's happening right now is broken.
Yeah, and I think it's
the
the leadership around it. I think is the most responsible.
It's easy for guys that have been playing at a high level their entire lives, and you don't get to this point if you didn't play at a high level for most of your football life. It's easy to denigrate special teams because those guys were below you, quote unquote. You didn't have to go out for kickoff return and punt return and kick coverage and punt coverage and field goal, block, field goal. Like, you didn't, no matter what your position. Most of these guys coming in have not had to deal with that for most of their high school careers. You have to make it. You have to make it like the way. If we see you, and maybe this is something that is year one, right? Because they haven't seen that. What happened for you guys is that year one, everybody saw Tifo and Kobe and that crew that came in that smaller freshman class. They went out there on special teams and kicked ass and made a name for themselves and got on the field in year two. And maybe we just haven't gotten there yet. I mean, I've noticed Raekwon Atkins out there a lot on special teams. I've noticed some Barry Jackson. Like, I've noticed some of these younger guys that have, kind of gotten out there. Maybe it takes an extra year for those guys to go from, okay, they did it on special teams. Now the culture says, if you do it on special teams, now you get your chance in the 2 deep or whatever. Maybe that's the part we haven't seen yet, because I will say, Ryan, that had to be a factor in why special teams was so important, because Alec Pierce made his name on special teams. Sauce didn't have to do it because he was Sauce. Like,
yeah, he was, probably arguably the best Bearcat ever.
He's right up there. In terms of, I have said, I think he's the most talented player, at least since, I didn't watch Greg Cook. I can't comment on Greg Cook and what
statistically too.
But yeah, well, there were no statistics because nobody dared to throw it.
Yeah, that means something.
Right.
Wow.
Nick Saban had Jamison Williams and was like, "We're good. We're good. We're we're not going to throw to the best receiver in college football.
We'll
But
just
I
run
do
the
think
ball.
I do think it's important that you have to establish that if you make your name on special teams, it means something in the hierarchy of the program, and they haven't had that chance yet. So I think it is fair to mention that, at least.
Yeah. One of my favorite things about Sauce is that teams shot away from him so much to the point that we literally came up with the corner blitz numerous times, and Sauce just teed off.
Just to get Sauce involved.
Just get Sauce involved.
Goodness.
You good?
I'm good.
All right. On that note, over under on 25 and a half high school commitments. Currently, we stand at 24, I believe. 24/7 has us listed at 23, but I don't think they added the evening defensive tackle.
Yeah,
Barber.
on this, so.
Right.
Yeah, he's
I'll
still. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go over, but not confidently. Like taking two more. If they find two more guys that the tape matches, what they're looking for, and I would assume it would also be, unless something really crazy like pops up, like after the season, somebody decommits or doesn't sign or whatever. I'll go slightly over, but not confidently.
I say over confidently.
Yeah, I'd say over too. Just because, there could be
Just
more.
remember, you only get 85, and they are planning on hitting the portal once again. So every high school kid you take is one less portal kid you can take.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't confidently go anywhere close to like 27, 20. If you're saying confidently, that means you think 27, 28 high school commits. I'm not confident in that at all.
I confidently say 26.
All right. Next question.
Do you foresee it likely that Scott Satterfield's tenure ends with a winning record?
No.
Starting 2-10 makes it real fucking difficult. I'll tell you that much.
Not easy.
Yeah. I obviously
I thought this season winning record this season.
No, his entirety here at Cincinnati.
Oh,
Jesus.
So like his overall record, or in that
Correct.
final season?
Yeah.
Do
he
you
gonna-
foresee
Now
it
until
likely?
the day he is no longer the coach at Cincinnati, does he end up with a winning record? Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
We lost Brett.
Brett left. He's mad.
The way that I read this question is, it's hard to come back from a rough first season. That's a lot of wins you got to make up for. But
Correct.
I don't know. I'd say you're behind the 8 ball on this one. So
the other problem is you're probably not going to hit a lot of those 10-2s in the Big 12,
right?
Where you can quickly erase a 2-10, right? Like Fick had a 4-8, and then he followed it with 11-2 or 11-3, whatever it was.
Wait, no,
14
games.
10-3, something, whatever it was.
11-3 the year after.
Yeah. But yeah,
like look at Dave Aranda at Baylor. He had that 12-2 season, and his overall record right now is 23-20 at Baylor. And I'm thinking Baylor probably ends up losing more games the rest of the way. And if this is his final season there, then he's going to end with a losing record, even with that 12-2 season. So I don't know. It's tough.
I don't think it's tough. I don't think starting off this way that you finish with a winning record. Not in the Big 12. If we were still in the American, sure.
Here's the thing: if they go 3-9, all it takes is a 9-3 to get back to 500. But I don't know how close they are to a 9-3. Like, what, 2 years away? And what is your record as you build to that 9-3? You know what I mean? Like, do you go 2-10, 4-8, and then pop a 9-3? Right.
We
6 and
need
6
that
and then-
Michigan staffer. We need the Michigan staffer next year. He's going to
Yeah.
get fired for Michigan. We'll get him over here.
The
And we'll start
details as
winning
they're
some
coming
goddamn
out on
football
that
games.
are wild.
Hey, Pete
Wild.
Thamel. Hey, we know what happens when Pete Thamel puts an article out.
Not good, Bob.
It is very, very likely.
Well, did you see the stuff tonight, Royer?
The stuff, people digging into his Venmo. People are going crazy on this.
So
I
he
saw pictures of him next to Harbaugh and Mentor
Royer.
and the OC during the Michigan game. Yeah, I saw that.
They have dug up him buying tickets to 30 games at 11 different venues, and they have tracked down like the people that were sitting in the seats, and they are recording off of like surveillance footage. They are recording the sidelines.
It's only bad if he films it. If he can go there, and sit there and chug through.
But
in his
he
brain
wasn't
what he
going.
thinks.
He was buying tickets and sending other people like on his dime to go to these games and spy on signals. And no, that's not okay. You cannot advance scout in college football.
Really?
Yeah, no advanced scouting. It's in the rules.
You can't go and try to
Nope.
steal. Stealing signals is not bad. It's if you're filming them and then taking the film and lining it up with the game film.
Right. But you're also not allowed to advance scout. You cannot send people to advanced locations. Like, that's just a college. Like, you can do that in the NFL. They're allowed to advance scout. But you can't do that in college.
Rule.
Yeah.
All right, back to the mailbag.
Damn
Which
it.
underclassman has been the biggest surprise positive on offense, defense, and special teams this season?
Shimon on offense.
Shimon on offense. Jonathan Thompson's emergence on defense is something that is, important, because we've talked about Jonathan Thompson from the day he arrived. Like,
Yeah.
he has the ability, and it's good to see that happening. Special teams, I don't know what, Oliver Bridges made a good tackle.
Our kicker,
Carter Brown.
kicker. Yes.
Yeah, he's young. That's right. He is young.
Yeah.
Yes.
You're right, Aaron.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Good job, Aaron. Well, and also shouts to Gilly. Gilly's getting a lot of
Yeah.
reps
Gilly's
out
getting
there.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Especially when
Yes,
Gresham
sir.
went down. Like, I think from what I saw, if I had to pick through camp Gilly or Jamal Williams, I would have picked Gilly because he made more plays.
right. Yep. And we're starting to see that play out.
Yep.
All right. If this season so far could be described by a rock song, would it be A, Nobody's Fault But Mine by Led Zeppelin?
No.
B, Still Haven't Found What I'm Looking For by U2. Before You Accuse Me, Take a Look at Yourself by Eric Clapton. Help by the Beatles. Or
Help!
E, I Need Somebody. Or I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones. Bonus selection, Manic Depression by Jimi Hendrix.
Hey, nobody's fault but mine. This team is where it is through their own fault.
I agree. I like Help though. Help's good.
I need somebody help, not just anybody.
I mean, I think for me personally, it would be B, because I still support and love them, and I bet them every single week, hoping that and I just still haven't found what I'm looking for. So,
Look,
yeah.
man, if you're going to bet them every week, I'm just not going to pay you anymore, and I'm going to use that money for something productive.
Hey, you know what? I get strategic about it,
I'm going to go off the grid and say I'm Not Okay, I Promise by My Chemical Romance.
That wasn't an option.
I don't care. I live in newer rock.
Okay. Fair. All right. B-ball portion.
That's the end of the football portion of the mailbag. Moving on to the basketball portion. To what extent do the struggles of the football team put more fan pressure on the basketball team to exceed expectations? And do any of you think this is unreasonable or unfair?
Unreasonable, unfair, stupid, ignorant. How many terms can I come up with? Do you hold the Bengals at fault if the Reds have a bad season?
Yes. No. I don't.
Come on, Anthony.
I don't.
You knew what you were getting with this question. You were trying to rile me up.
Everybody's got their shtick.
But yeah, excited for basketball as well. There we go.
Is there any
I think
sense
I'm going to kill myself by Elton John?
30 Walrus. Love it.
Wasn't that by the Wedding Singer? Is there any sense of if waivers aren't granted that a lawsuit will follow?
Stay tuned.
TBD.
Stay tuned.
On next week's episode.
You're right. One headlight by the Wallflowers. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Well done, Crypt Keeper.
Is Simas a situational point guard or only an emergency point guard?
He is someone that in the half-court setting, they will use to run offense. They will run offense through him because he is a good passer. He has a good feel for the game. It depends on your definition of quote-unquote point guard. Like, he can run the offense even if he's not the guy that brings the ball up the floor. You inbound the ball, point guard, quote-unquote, brings the ball up the floor. Simas sets a very simple ball screen or handoff situation, and now he's in control of the offense from the top of the key. To me, that means he's playing the role of point guard. So it's just how you dissect it, but Simas is going to have the ball in his hands initiating offense a lot. So take that however you may. What's so funny, bro? What are you laughing at? Smiling at something over there.
Old TikTok.
Funny text I got.
There we go. Yeah, Chad, I agree. I think honestly, it could be both. If Jizzle and Day get in foul trouble, then it's emergency. But I think, like you're saying, not necessarily bring the ball off the court and guard the other team's primary ball handler, but run the offense.
Initiating offense like that, to me, that's you're being asked to be a point guard, right?
Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying by Fall Out Boy.
Okay.
We're dying, Aaron. We're dying.
I'm aware. I feel the talent at the point guard spot is as good as it's been in a while. Day was a top 3 JUCO in the country, and James was a top 50 type talent in his class. Is the fan base overthinking the point guard concerns?
If they were still in the American, yes. They are in the best basketball conference in the country. There are a lot of very good point guards in this conference. And if you are bad at point guard, then you are in bad shape in this conference. So no, they are not overreacting. No one is overreacting to the fear that they don't have a point guard that has dribbled a basketball in a Division I basketball game.
That's also not to say that there won't be one of these guys.
They can't. Right. But we're in the preseason. We don't know. We have never seen one of these guys.
Question marks are scary. Question marks are scary.
We talked about question marks leading into the football season. Lots of question marks. And guess what? We're still talking about when are these question marks unfortunately, we're getting answers to the question marks in football.
They're not good answers.
They're not good answers. So do I feel pretty good about the talent at point guard? Yes. Do I know how they're going to play in a Division I game over, a 3-week stretch that includes like Kansas and Baylor and Texas Tech and yeah, right. Jayhawks and Bears and Lions. Oh my! There's no Lions, but I couldn't come up with one quick enough. But I'm concerned over a 5-month stretch that there's going to be a period where the point guard play is not high level Division I point guard, and that's okay because they're both new, but also you could go 1-4 in that stretch. Because your point guard play was not great. So it might look great in November, might look great in December. And then you have a stretch in January where they don't play well. And we're sitting here on this podcast on Monday nights and Royer's looking at his phone and the three of us are like, well, they're not playing well at point guard.
Yeah. Yeah. I do agree though. I
have no idea what the hell's going on.
I know, that's why I made the joke.
The whole point.
But the
I'm
talent
looking
level.
at memes. I'm on Memeville. You guys can talk about what the hell the point guard spot. Just give it. I just want to see some wins this year. Then I can give you some analysis on the point guard.
There's going to be a lot of Royer wants to know in basketball to make sure you're involved. Okay, I watched the game.
Excited.
I don't understand. Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Tyler Perry. If we do get Tyler, how do you see his potential with us? And this was followed. This is followed up with by Kindog 202. Getting Tyler Perry would be huge for our NIL budget. Travis Perry would be huge for help on the court.
Yeah, I mean he'd probably make a killer movie, call it 513 or something, That'd be...
Tyler Perry doesn't need NIL money. He has one of the biggest houses ever in the history.
He's saying he could contribute NIL money.
Yeah,
Ken Dog was saying
fair enough.
He could
I read that.
NIL money.
I interpreted that the way that Brent and Ryan interpreted tenure.
Oh, relax. If you're gonna cling on to that one thing, anyway, the way that I see it is this. Tyler Perry would be a great addition to the basketball program, and I hope they bring him in.
Not as good as Travis Perry, though.
Not as in the exact future, I would say Travis Perry would be better. Yeah,
I agree. I'm with you.
All right, moving on to the last portion of the mailbag, rapid fire.
This is great. I'm happy. This is a good one. Skins, this might be his best performance in months.
We ended up karaokeing the end of the podcast last week. That was really fun.
What we got here? What we got?
Rapid fire. Window or aisle seat?
Aisle.
Yeah, I like aisle as well.
Window.
If I'm in the window is fucking closed. I don't want to look out the goddamn window. I don't want the light in my face. I want the window shut. If you have your window open, unless you're like a 7-year-old girl, I want to punch you in the face.
Amen.
I have a punchable face.
You sit there with your window open, don't you? You asshole.
I ask people to open it.
Holy shit, that's next level.
Yeah. I would just pretend I didn't hear you.
Worst. You are the worst.
I'll just have my headphones in and be like, yeah, I did not hear what this guy next to me said. But luckily on my flight.
You are the Dave Simone interpretation on special teams of riding in an airplane.
Tap, 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 sir. Can you we're descending. Can you open that real quick? I want to see the thing.
I would say, flight attendant, this weird man keeps touching me. Can you?
Yeah. Can you get the marshal? This fucking guy right here.
I mean, the best though is when you're sitting.
He pointed his gun at me and told me to open the window.
He's scaring me a lot. But no, the best is when you're sitting in your row and then you slowly start to see like, wait a minute, is no one gonna sit next to me? And like you like slowly count the amount of people that are
The
still coming
last
in.
person.
Oh,
sits
then
next to you.
yeah, then the last person comes in, plops right down next to you. But now I got lucky on my flight on Saturday night, full row, all me.
With
Yeah, we
Glorious.
used to have
everyone,
a family of 3 and we could fill up a row, but now we're down to 2.
that took a dark turn. With everyone being a Midwestern and our tendency to drive way too far instead of flying, what is your max distance before you say fuck it and take a plane?
It used to be 8 to 9. Like I would just drive 8 to 9 hours over taking a plane. In my old age, it is reduced to like 5 or 6.
Yeah, 7. I'm starting to think about the flight.
I don't believe you. You drove to Dallas in your
With
old
somebody
age.
else to drive.
Well,
Like my dad and I were that. Like I didn't have to drive. If it was just me, I would have flew to Dallas. But like my dad and I were able to split shifts where like you can drive for 3 or 4 hours and trade. That's a different. If I'm the only driver, 5 to 6 is now. After that, we're looking at flying.
I'm big time flyer. Big time flyer.
Your mom buys you tickets.
I'm broke, so I'm looking at like 18 hours. Anything over 18 hours.
But you're gonna still spend. You're gonna still spend just as much money on gas.
Not on a family of 5, Brent.
Okay.
You're talking
You're a
about
family
one.
of you're a family of 1.
Right.
They're asking you how far. Okay. If
Yeah,
you're
but he's
thinking your
responsible
whole family.
to have a family of 5 with plane tickets.
I'm not going. Where am I going on
understand.
vacation by myself? What are you talking about?
You travel to away football games. That's not a vacation.
I'm driving.
Yeah. Yes.
There's not 5
I
people
drove-
going with you to that.
I've driven to LA and back and Vegas and back. Like I will drive.
Holy
But
shit!
as I've gotten, oh yeah, I drove to
How
LA
was
and
that?
back by myself. It was long. Very
How
long.
long?
We're talking a day.
Like 3 days.
3 days.
Like
Oh, you
2
cut
and a
it
half
up.
days, 3
Yeah.
days. Yeah,
Fuck.
it was long. I remember like the when I drove to LA the first time, it was the night of the UConn Duke National Championship in 1999. And I got a bunch of mileage off of listening to the game and then the post game. And then I think I slept in a rest area in like Little Rock or something, which is probably one of the more dangerous things I've ever done.
This looks like a good spot.
Yeah. Looking back, probably not real smart.
No.
Twix or Snickers?
This
Twix.
is tough. I love both. Now, peanut butter Snickers, I will take peanut butter Snickers. If not, I'll go Twix.
What about peanut butter Twix?
Holy shit!
I still think I would take peanut butter Snickers over peanut butter Twix.
I take the
But
Twix
peanut
over
butter Twix are
Snickers.
awesome.
Take the Twix over Snickers, but the Snickers ice cream bar over Twix.
Ooh.
The Snickers ice cream bar is the greatest
Elite.
snack
Elite.
ever invented.
Elite.
It's the greatest ice cream thing ever invented, the Snickers ice cream bar.
It's elite.
And now I'm going to have to get Snickers ice cream bars when I go to the
Yes.
store.
Well, because
You're
the Choco
welcome.
Taco is no longer a thing.
The
So
Choco Taco used to be the best ice cream thing ever.
yes. So now it is the Snickers.
Yeah, but I will be getting a box of probably as many Snickers ice cream. But I might have to go to Costco.
$600 worth.
Yeah, $600
That's only-
worth of
That's only
Snickers.
4 boxes.
Yeah,
you're like-
that's 12. That's 12 Snickers ice cream.
Did you
bars.
see how much that guy had in his cart? It cost him $200.
Full circle joke. Yes.
We did
Love
it.
callbacks.
We did it.
Look, I love
Chappelle.
callbacks. Yeah, callbacks are the best.
Ryan, did you say what you would
You
prefer?
said Twix.
Twigs,
All right,
man.
sorry. We got
Gosh,
hung up.
dude.
We got hung up in the Snickers ice cream bar conversation.
Kelsey has
Yeah.
a nomination. She just
Yeah,
threw at me.
Your tenure of this question is not very good, Aaron.
I used to love the
You're gonna end
cookies
in a
and cream
losing
ones of
record.
those.
That's not how you use
Reese's-
tenure.
Yeah,
Reese's
I just use it
Klondike.
that way, and you will
Reese's
like it.
Klondike is pretty
Incorrect.
good. Anyhow.
Follow-up question. The BCJ staff is being interrogated for a bank heist that you did commit. You did commit.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that you heard that correctly. Who is the first one to roll over and turn state's evidence?
Aaron.
Yeah, I agree.
Aaron. Without fucking question.
100%.
I wasn't made for
They're gonna be
jail.
like,
Not-
we'll give you one less day in jail, and he'll be like, I'll tell you all these
I'm in.
motherfuckers.
He would say it was that guy right there.
Yeah, it was him. Without question. What? Me?
It was you.
Oh yeah, it was probably me. And also for the second part of this question, the answer is me.
Who makes the best of bad situation in prison? I make the worst situation in prison. I'm
You
dead.
were crying in your bed like a bitch the night you got put in.
And then dead.
Right. I would be looking to form.
You'd Epstein?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Aaron
I'd be
Aaron
murdered.
would be hung by his shoelaces
Jesus
in the morning.
Christ.
That's Aaron, like that's not bad. That's Aaron. Like he wants out. There's nothing to do with
I'm dead.
it.
We'll get the
I would
guards to
have-
come in and kill Aaron with the cameras off.
I'm trying to get myself put in isolation so I don't get all of the bad things. All of the bad things.
I would have a
What?
gang within 60 days. I would have a crew. Like I would have a crew. I would. Like that's what I do. I like look what I've done here. I just assemble. Like I just figure it out and assemble things and make shit work. I would be okay in prison.
I'll tell him everything that Chad did to get out.
Right. Aaron
All the
Aaron
time.
would flip on me in 1 second. 1 second. Like I said, they would be like, Aaron, we'll give you 1 day less in jail if you just tell us. And he would be like, Chad did it. I'm sorry. He made me do it. I didn't want to do it, but he made me.
It's mean.
It's true. You admitted it's true.
I said he's mean.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
why I
Like,
did. That's why he made me do it. He's mean. That's the mailbag. Get us out of here, Brent.
Yeah, there we go. Whoa. Ed coming in hot. So
Ed,
guys.
hold on. Ed, no, I'm not letting this go. Ed, you quit. You don't get to play this game anymore, Ed. You quit PTP. You bailed on PTP, and you don't get to keep blaming it on Aaron. So stop with that shit, or I'll put it on Twitter.
We
You
can't.
get this, Ed.
We can't mute him because he's on Twitch. Like we can't.
I could go in
Don't
and Twitch
tell
and
him.
mute him if I wanted to, but I'm just telling him. You don't get to play
All
that
right.
game, Ed. You quit. I got the recipients.
Get us out of here, Brent.
Yeah, and you know what? There's a game on Saturday, folks. That's right. 8 p.m. Stillwater, Oklahoma State. I'm a man. I'm 40. Come at me. That's right. Coach Gundy. Bring him on. So we'll have coverage of that all leading up to it. Basketball obviously firing up soon. I see Berg has a uplifting article there, and it's going to
Sometimes
be
you need Berg to jump in and kind of. We might need a Berg night. If we do
Sure.
Sunday right before like the start of the season, we might need Berg.
have him-
on it.
yeah, that'd be fun.
Let him be the creamy voice of reason.
The jizzly, creamy voice of reason.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, wow. Quite the close here. But hey, guys, football still here, basketball still right around the corner. We're gonna have it all here on
And-
BTJ.
And tomorrow night you can listen to George Vogel instead of Ed in our Tuesday night spot, which is a win for everybody.
There we go. Now, without further ado, for my pals, big shouts to Danco Transmission and Auto Care. Big shouts as well to Home Field Apparel. And of course, big shouts as well to Quick Paper Supply. But for my guys, pals, partners, the trio, the squad, the crew, Aaron Smith, Chad Brendel, and Ryan Royer, I am Brent Young. Yet another fantastic BBP presented by BearcatJournal.com.
You started it, Ed.
See it.
I love you too.